Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the movie The Fire Between Us on Mercy Johnson Okojie TV. So this movie is about two sisters who grew up in a violent home. It was Mercy and Bimbo Ademoye and them that played the roles. So these two ladies grew up in a violent home. They saw their parents fight all the time, and they grew up with that pain. But something happened between the two girls. One of them, the older one, turned out to become, will I say the a tout. She didn't amount to anything due to her pain. Whereas the other girl, the younger one, became a doctor in the long run, got married, and had her own family. Right? So the elder sister, whenever you ask her, why are you like this? Why are you not doing anything for yourself? She just tells you, don't you know what I passed through as a child? It was because of my parents, blah, blah, blah. But people just wonder, how are these two girls from the same home? This one has amounted to nothing. The other one amounted to something, right? But they grew up in the same home, had the same experience. So what's different? What made their life so different, right? The younger one, who is a doctor, is more calculated, more calm, more responsible than the older one. So people get like, what happened? Why are they so different? Even the elder one just blames it on luck. She feels the younger sister was just a lucky child. That's why she became a doctor and got married. But in the long run, we found out that it was a matter of choice, determination, and you know, um, self determination, basically. So even though they grew up in the same home, the same parents, had the same struggles as children, but the younger one made a decision to not let her situation define her. So she made a decision to ensure that her life came out better than what it was as a child. Whereas the elder one decided to get swallowed up in the situation she found herself. She dropped out of school because she couldn't stand the challenges, the bullying, the mockery that came with her situation at the time. And she thought she was punishing her parents by amounting to nothing, not realizing that it was herself she was destroying. So these two girls, the doctor, because even if they grew up in such a violent home, it didn't interfere with the love they had for each other as siblings. So the younger one always used to stick out for her elder sister, always saving her from troubles, always running helter skelter, trying to solve her troubles and problems for her. Even her husband was at some point telling her that, I don't understand why you do this for your sister, because it's more like you are enabling her. Each time she goes into trouble, it makes trouble, you always go defending her or trying to sort her out, and then she goes back to do the same thing. So it's more like you're enabling her. But she was just doing that because that's her only sister. She loved her so much to let her rot. Yeah. But the other sister wasn't seeing it that way. At some point, she even became entitled. She became entitled. Like, why would my younger sister do this for me? She's just the lucky one. Therefore, she's supposed to use her luck for the better force. And the mom even got tired with the whole situation. When your first child is the one misbehaving, every parent will feel that, like, what's up, what's happening, why is my first child useless. But at the end of the day, it's still her child. She wouldn't do anything much. So this thing continued, and at some point the younger sister got fed up. She was like, I'm done. I'm done trying to save you. If you want to drown, you keep drowning. I'm not going to try to save you anymore, because obviously you're not appreciating my efforts. You're not saying that I'm trying to help you. Rather, you're trying to, frustrate my efforts, and even trying to destroy me. Because at some point, she went to her younger sister's house, the elder sister now, moved her things to her younger sister's house without being invited, and said she was going to live with them. And some of those days, she would lock her sister up in the house and say that she's not going to go to work until she gives her money. And, and that one would not want to give her money, because she knows she's not going to use the money for anything reasonable. Either she's going to gamble with the money, or she's going to go smoke with the money. So she didn't want to give her. But then, she put her like on a house arrest, threatened to destroy her things, her property, if she doesn't give her money. So things like that will make the girl disoriented, and she wouldn't go to work. I know when things like this happen to you once, twice, obviously your workplace, they're going to flag it. So putting her work at risk. So she's like, you know what, I'm done. And I think the one that broke the camel's back was when your elder sister left home. After they've confronted her, she left home angrily, and she never came back. Right? So they looked for her everywhere, but they didn't find her. They couldn't find her, and everybody got worried. The sister was not in the right frame of mind to go to work at this point, only for them to find her after some days in a police station. They got the notes, a call that she was arrested the day before. So the mom quickly called the younger sister and asked her to go bail her elder sister as usual. But the younger sister was like, in fact, I'm not doing it. She can stay there for all she wants, but I'm not going to spend my money and release her from that police station. Like, I mean, how is it that I haven't been able to work all these days, and she was busy living her life somewhere, committing a crime that will warrant the police to arrest her? I'm done doing this. I can't. I'm not gonna, bail her. And the mom was like, what do you mean? She's your only sister. And she's like, Mom, I'm tired. I'm not doing it. So she went upstairs to her room. When her husband came back, she told her husband that they found her sister. But guess what? She was arrested. So I was like, where is she now? She's like, she's still there. I didn't release her. Oh, like, what? You mean you left her there? She says yes. And her husband has told her to do this before, and she didn't do it. So for her to be doing this one now without any advice, the man was like, she's really fed up. So he didn't even bother to tell her, try and release her or not release her. He just didn't speak about the situation. He didn't mention a word to her anymore about the sister. So he just let her be. The next day, the mom started begging the husband to please help her release her daughter. So, she was crying and pleading with the man, even knelt down. That was when the man was like, okay, so it's enough, mama. So he went and bailed the sister. And this big sister came back to shout at the younger sister that why would she allow her sleep? Like, I mean, as if it's the younger sister that told her to go and commit crime. I mean, she gave the younger sister money to help her and hold, that she'll be using to bail her every time she finds herself in police custody. But even before this, before the girl, the husband of the younger sister bailed her, the younger sister already called the police and told them she was going to bail her sister by Monday. So I think this happened over the weekend, like on a Friday. So she wanted her sister to stay there till Monday, then she can bail her. Not like she was going to leave her there forever anyway. But then her husband bailed her sister on a Saturday. So she came back from work, and then so that her sister has been beat, and now one was scolding her that why would she have the mind to allow her sleep in the police cell? This. That was when she now spoke up. The younger sister was now very angry, like she scolded her elder sister like a child and told her that she thinks she's destroying people by doing whatever she's doing, and then she hears her all the time saying her life is because she's lucky. But she's not lucky. She kind of recounted all the experiences she had growing up as well. And even when her sister decided to drop out of school, those that were bullying her younger elder sister faced her. But in her case now, her elder sister was not even there to join forces with her, to stand with her. But she was determined not to end up useless or worthless. She was determined not to let the situation of things define her. So she kept forging ahead, even with all the bully, with all the mockery, with everything. She kept forging ahead. And then there was something she said. She said when their dad was still with them, and amidst all those fights, that their dad said everything changed in their home the moment he lost his job, including their mom. So all the fight and quarrel started when their dad lost his job. That means he was unable to provide for the family. That's where the nagging from the wife came and the unending quarrel. So this girl, who was little at the time, told herself she was not going to be the kind of wife that wouldn't have a job or wouldn't have anything doing, to the point that if your husband can't support the home, you won't be able to support the home. That way you get to problems or quarrel in your home. So these were the things that made her form the decision to be useful, right? To be responsible, to get something to do, to get a career to her name. So she now told her sister that it wasn't anybody's fault that she said to come out like this. It's not even their parents' fault, because she had the options to choose, but she chose the wrong path. And it's high time she stopped blaming people for that, right? After speaking to her like that, the other sister went to her room. When somebody will speak to you and you can't think about your life, even their mom went to think about her life after the younger sister spoke to them. And after that, she came back, apologized to the younger sister, and decided she was going to learn a trade. And she started learning fashion designing. And from there, she started making effort to actually be a good person. But she realized now that she wasn't doing anybody, she was doing herself. What does this whole and that was where the whole movie ended. But what does this movie teach us is, as parents, right, every actions we take has effects on our children. Every action we take, whatever you do in your home, it has a way of telling on your children. But then again, for the children, it's still your choice to either be good or bad, right? Yeah, situations around you might want to shape you into becoming a notorious child or being a bad child. But you, as a human being, even if you're a child, you're a human being, you have your rights to decide to be useful to yourself. It doesn't pay anybody, it doesn't pain anybody as much as it's going to pain you if you become nothing. You can't be smoking weed and say you're dealing with somebody else. You're the one that your organs will feel tomorrow, not your parents. You can't decide to become a thief just because you want to punish your parents. Who's going to get caught tomorrow? You. So it just tells us that in as much as our situations, our environment might not be so conducive, but do not let don't let the situations around you shape you. Rather, make an informed decision for yourself. Make the decisions to be against every other odd. Because at the end of the day, it is about you. It's about you, right? You need to be the one to decide that you're going to be a good person. They're going to be successful. They're going to be useful. They're going to be responsible. It's not a good enough excuse to say because my parents used to fight, therefore that's why I'm start fighting in public. Or because my father used to beat my mother, that's why I will grow up and become a wife beater or a husband beater. Doesn't make any sense. So the movie taught us that we should, in as much as you might grow up in environments that might not be perfect, but you need to make that decision. It's up to you to make that decision to be perfect or not, to be useful or not. And dear parents, please remember that whatever you do, your children are watching, and it can go a long way to shape their future so that you don't live in regrets. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next. Bye. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.